Hey everyone, welcome back. It's your host from Virtual Travel, your guide to exploring the highs, the lows, and the oops, we broke it moments of America. Today, we're counting down the U.S. states getting hit the hardest by the 2025 economic downturn, brought to you by the tariff wars we didn't ask for. Think of this as a travel guide, but instead of sandy beaches and bustling boardwalks, it's ghost towns, closed diners, and state officials frantically Googling how to revive a collapsing economy. So grab your overpriced cup of coffee, if you can still afford it, and smash that like button like the tourism industry got smashed in Florida. Stick around to find out which state is facing the hardest fall. Spoiler alert, sunsets and ski resorts won't save you when tariffs turn dream vacations into budgeting nightmares. Got it? Good. Let's dive in. Number 10, Maine. Maine's economy has always been about two things: tourists snapping photos of lighthouses and eating $40 lobster rolls. Both of these staples are taking a nosedive in 2025. Canadian tourists, historically Maine's most loyal visitors, aren't coming anymore due to tariffs and the icy Great White North boycott of American vacations. The Portland Express reports a 9.8% drop in international tourists this year alone. And it's not just the visitors who vanished. Maine's lobster exports are tangled in Ottawa's retaliation list, which means higher prices and fewer buyers. Coastal towns reliant on tourism are seeing their inns half empty, and diners that once sold lobster rolls by the dozen are now pushing chicken tenders. For a state that thrives on seaside charm, losing its biggest market is a clawful situation. That's right, pun intended. Number 9, Michigan. Michigan's economy is stuck in first gear. Remember when Canadians used to flood across the Ambassador Bridge for cheap gas, hockey games, and maple syrup jokes? Well, those days are over. Cross-border traffic has plummeted by 12%, leaving fudge shops on Mackinac Island staring at unsold slabs like seagulls eyeing day-old fries. And then there's Detroit. Trump's new auto tariffs have hit Michigan harder than a pothole on I-75. Manufacturers are laying off workers as car parts pile up unsold. Grand Rapids has already lost over 100 jobs, and GM's latest earnings report fell 30% faster than a rusted-out Pontiac on a snowy hill. With fewer Canadians buying jerseys and fewer Americans driving cars, Michigan's economy is sputtering. That famous Pure Michigan jingle? It's starting to sound more like pure trouble. Number 8, Massachusetts. Massachusetts is famous for its fall foliage, but in 2025, the economic outlook is looking less golden and more like dried-up leaves. Western Massachusetts used to rake in tourists with hayrides and cozy bed and breakfasts. Now, tariffs have families rethinking their budgets, and local inns are reporting bookings thinner than a late-season maple tree. Boston University's latest reports predict that these tariffs could cost the state $12 billion in growth and up to 80,000 jobs by 2026. Even Boston's famous Freedom Trail is seeing fewer visitors, and Fenway Park has noticed a decline in Canadian tourists who used to cross the border for a Red Sox game and a $10 pretzel. When the enemy of tourism is your own trade policy, even the Bay State's charm can't keep its economic ship from sinking. Number 7, Louisiana. Louisiana's French Quarter once buzzed with Canadian tourists ready to party on Bourbon Street. But in 2025, those Mardi Gras beads are now flying over half-empty streets. Canadian bookings are way down, and locals are feeling the $2 billion hit to Louisiana's tourism sector. Axios reports that hotels are seeing a 12% drop in advanced bookings. Bellhops who once scrambled to carry luggage are now perfecting their cocktail flipping skills to pass the time. Meanwhile, cruise ships that once filled the Gulf Coast are rerouting to other destinations, leaving towns like New Orleans and Baton Rouge feeling the financial squeeze. Louisiana's tourism industry is learning the hard way: when your top international market ghosts you, even jazz can't lift the mood. Number 6, Alaska. Alaska's economy is frozen in place, literally. Cruise ships like the Norwegian Bliss are still docking in Juneau, but passenger numbers are way down. Tour operators are calling 2025 a mixed bag, which in Alaskan terms means not good. Fewer tourists mean fewer shore excursions, fewer gift shop sales, and fewer dollars feeding local economies. The west coast of Alaska, once reliant on summer cruise traffic, is now bracing for what looks like a very long winter. If the tourism industry doesn't bounce back soon, Alaska's Inside Passage towns might find themselves lonelier than a glacier during a heat wave. Number 5. Nevada. Las Vegas, the city of lights, is dimming its neon glow. Visitor numbers are down 7% in 2025, and that translates to nearly 1 million fewer people dropping quarters into slot machines. Senator Jackie Rosen has dubbed it the Vegas Vanish, blaming tariffs and international travel restrictions for scaring off high rollers from overseas. Meanwhile, budget travelers are rethinking their trips when a bagel costs $25 and a bottle of water feels like a luxury item. The result? Empty blackjack tables, quieter pool parties, and souvenir shops offering buy one, get 10 Elvis mugs free deals. What happens in Vegas might still stay in Vegas, but these days, not much is happening at all. Number 4, Hawaii. Hawaii's paradise is losing its appeal. University of Hawaii economists warn that visitor numbers could drop 4% over the next 2 years, costing the state $1.6 billion in lost revenue. Japanese tourists, who once filled Waikiki's hotels, are spending 50% less than they did in 2019. Meanwhile, rising resort fees and airfare costs are chasing away budget-conscious travelers. Even locals are feeling the pinch as businesses raise prices to cover their losses. When your economy is built on warm beaches and aloha spirit, losing your biggest international markets hits harder than a rogue wave. Number 3, California. California's tourism industry is finally hitting a red light. International visitor numbers are expected to fall 9% this year, marking the first major decline since the pandemic. From Disneyland to the Golden Gate Bridge, fewer tourists mean fewer dollars circulating through the economy. Analysts are calling it a Golden State slowdown, and businesses that ramped up for record-breaking summers are now bracing for layoffs. Even Hollywood's famous Walk of Fame is quieter than usual. Street performers dressed as superheroes are competing for spare change, and visitors are realizing that Instagram filters make the whole experience look better than it actually is. Number 2, New York. New York City is still the city that never sleeps, but in 2025, its hotel rooms are sleeping just fine. Occupancy rates are down 11%, leaving Broadway theaters and Fifth Avenue retailers feeling the pinch. International travel restrictions and visa headaches have scared off tourists from Brazil, the UK, and China. Even Times Square's infamous costume street performers are struggling to make ends meet. Statewide, the economic hit could cost $7 billion and 280,000 jobs. From Niagara Falls to the Adirondacks, the Empire State is bracing for a tough year ahead. Number 1, Florida. And finally, Florida takes the crown for the hardest hit. Canadian tourists, who normally make up 28% of Florida's international visitors, have dropped by 40%. That's a $12.5 billion black hole in the Sunshine State's economy. From Disney World to Daytona Beach, hotels are offering steep discounts, and souvenir shops are practically giving away seashells. Even Florida's iconic manatees are probably wondering where everyone went. Without its snowbird lifeline, Florida's economy is struggling to stay afloat. If things don't turn around, the state's tourism motto might change from the Sunshine State to the Clearance State. That's it for today's countdown. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to Virtual Travel, and let me know in the comments which state surprised you the most. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep exploring, even if it's just from your couch.